guys, welcome to part 2 of my Bluebell Mandala crochet along, or in this case a little Pinkbell Mandala. If you're coming straight to this video, then do check out part 1 where we learn how to make the beginning round and we talk about the materials that we're using. But for those of you that are following along, we're going to move straight on to round 7. So I'm just going to put the big mandala to the side. So you should have something that looks like this. And our last round we just worked in the dark pink or whatever colour you're using, doing these little shell fan shapes. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to rejoin the white. So I'm going to put our other colours to the side and we're just going to bring up the white yarn. I'm just going to feed that through the loop on our hook. Okay, and now we're working with the white. So this round is a little bit more complicated, but do bear with me, I think you can do it. So what we're going to do first though is we're going to chain 5. So we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we're chaining 5. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to look for this treble stitch, the biggest stitch in the middle of our fan. So we're actually going to skip the first 3 stitches. So we're going to skip the stitch we slip stitched into, skip the next stitch and skip the next stitch and find this big treble in the middle. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a single crochet back post stitch around this stitch. So that sounds a bit scary, but all we need to do is we need to bring our hook from the back of our project and we're going to bring it in between the big stitch and the double crochet next to it. So in between this treble and double crochet, we're just going to bring our hook through. Okay, so it's not going through the stitch at the top, it's just going through between the 2 posts. So that's coming from the back, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put it through the next 2 stitches, so in between the next 2 posts. So going to the other side of your treble and going through the gap, we put it to the back again. And then all we do is we just grab our yarn over, bring that through to the other side, and then we just do a single crochet as normal. So we yarn over, pull through 2. So in UK terminology that's going to be a double crochet. And that is our single crochet back post stitch, and it's just wrapping around that treble in the middle. So if you lift up there, you should see a tiny little bit of white just wrapping it around there. Okay, but then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 5. Let's chain 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So chain 5 again, and this time we're going to do a double crochet back post stitch. So in UK terminology that's going to be a treble back post stitch, although I think back post stitch is called something different in UK terminology, not sure. But what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over and we're going to skip the next 2 stitches. So that was the one we wrapped, that's our treble there, that's got our other back post stitch around it. We're going to skip the double crochet, skip the half double crochet, and we're going to find these 2 single crochets in the middle. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a double crochet back post stitch, but we're not going to do it around these pink stitches, around these single crochet. We're going to do it around this stitch that lies right in the middle between them. So we're going to come in for the stitch though this time, so rather than around the post of this white stitch, doing it for the stitch. So coming from the back, we're going to come into this white stitch underneath the first single crochet, then we're going to come out through the second stitch which is underneath the second single crochet. Then we're going to grab our yarn and bring that through to the other side, and then we're going to do a double crochet as normal. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 to do a double crochet. Okay, so that's a double crochet back post stitch, but it's around not the pink single crochets, but it's around the previous stitch, the double crochet underneath, but not around the post, it's around the stitch. Okay, so you can see it wrapping around there, and then we just repeat that all the way around. So we're going to chain 5 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to do that single crochet back post stitch around the treble post. So for this one we find our middle stitch, come to the right hand side of it around the post and not the stitch at the top, and go through the other side. Grab the yarn, bring it to the other side, and then just yarn over, pull through 2 to do a single crochet. So that's going around the post. The next one goes around the stitch. So then we chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this time it's a double crochet, so we need to yarn over first. So find those 2 single crochets, little pink ones in the middle, and look for the stitch underneath, the double crochet underneath. Okay, we're going to come in through the stitch though, so we're not coming in for the post this time, we're coming in for the stitch at the top, around to the other side, grab the yarn, bring it to the other side, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so that's being wrapped around the stitch at the top rather than the post. And just repeat that all the way around. So chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet back post stitch around this treble. So we come in, doing it around the post, so we come in through the right hand side, over to the other side, grab the yarn, do a single crochet, chain 5, 3, 4, 5, yarn over first because we're going to do a double crochet, find your 2 pink stitches, then go in the stitch, the white stitch underneath the first pink stitch, then come out through the white stitch under the second pink stitch, bring the yarn through to the other side and do a double crochet. So pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay, we're going to repeat that all the way around. So chain 5, single crochet back post stitch around the treble, but going around the post, not the stitch, chain 5, yarn over and do a double crochet back post stitch around this. Find the 2 single crochets, find the stitch underneath, but we're going in for the stitch at the top, and do a double crochet. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, and we're just going to repeat that round. Okay, so just coming up to the end, chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to finish up by finding the last, or the first single crochet that you did and the last single crochet of the round, this pink round. I'm going to come in through the last stitch underneath the last pink and go in through the stitch below the first pink. Bring the yarn through and then do your double crochet, and then we're just going to slip stitch in the first chain of our first 5 chains. Just put your hook into there and just do a slip stitch. Okay. If that could go wrong, it certainly did. So there we go. So that's the end of round 7, and hopefully you got something that looks like this. Got these little loops here. And we're going to stick with the white for now, and what we're going to do next is we are going to do a set of stitches in the 5 chain space. So find your first 5 chain space, just put your hook into there. I'm going to start off with a single crochet, then we're going to do a half double crochet, pull through all 3, then we're going to do a double crochet, and then we're going to do a treble. So we wrap the yarn around our hook twice, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay, so in UK terminology that's going to be a double crochet, a half treble, a treble, then a double treble. But in US terminology it's a single, half double crochet, and a treble. Okay, then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do that in reverse in the next 5 chain space. So we start off with a treble, go into the next 5 chain space, do your treble, then we do double crochet, so we're just doing it in reverse, half double crochet, then a single crochet, just wrapping it around those chains in that 5 chain space. Okay, then we just repeat that to the end. So we find the next 5 chain space, we do a single crochet, then a half double crochet, so we're just wrapping it around the chains, double crochet, and then a treble, then we do a chain 1 in between, don't forget your little chain 1, then we do find our next 5 chain space and do that in reverse. So we do a treble, a double, half double, then a single crochet. Okay, and just repeat that all the way around back to the beginning. So we go straight into, there's no chain 1 in between this bit, we just go straight into the next 5 chain space with a single crochet. Okay. Okay, so when you're back at the beginning, just finish up my single crochet, we're just going to slip stitch into our first single crochet. Okay, so find your first single crochet and slip stitch into there. Just drawing around. Hopefully you got something that looks like this, so it's getting bigger and prettier. Then what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our next colour, and it's going to be the colour you haven't used yet. So for me it's going to be this other shade of pink. So just find the end of that. Okay, so when you get your new colour, the one you haven't used yet, I'm going to place it over our hook, and we're just going to bring that through the loop on our hook, and then pull the white down. Now we're working with our new colour. So by now you should have used every colour out of the 4 little balls of yarn, and well, you can use any colour that you like, obviously. And what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3 to begin. So we're going to chain 1, 2 and 3, so chain 3, and we're going to do a treble in the stitch that we slip stitched into. Okay, so start off the treble, so wrap the yarn around your hook twice, and then go back into the same stitch you slip stitched into, so this single crochet, go back into there and do your treble. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So in UK terminology that's going to be a double treble. And now we're going to do a double treble in US terminology. So we're going to wrap the yarn around our hook 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And the same thing applies as to the treble. Put our hook into the same stitch. Bring the yarn through. And like I say, with a stitch that's a double crochet or bigger, we just yarn over and pull through 2 till we get to the end. Nice easy way to remember. So yarn over, pull for the first 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So in UK terminology, I'm assuming that's going to be a triple treble crochet stitch. Okay, then we're going to go back to a normal treble. So we just wrap the yarn around our hook twice, go back into the same stitch again, and again we pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, only 3 times to do our treble. So in UK terminology that's a double treble. And then we chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to slip stitch in the same stitch. Okay, so let's have a little look at that. So we started off with chain 3, so in US terminology, chain 3, do a treble, then a double treble, then a treble, chain 3 and slip stitch. In UK terminology, we chain 3, we do a double treble, triple treble, double treble, chain 3, slip stitch. It's a mouthful. And then what we're going to do is we are going to slip stitch up to the 1 chain space. So we're going to go into the next stitch, do a slip stitch, next stitch, do a slip stitch, next stitch, do a slip stitch. Okay, and then you're up to your 1 chain space. And in there we're going to do a single crochet, so just wrapping it around the 1 chain, do a single crochet, a double crochet, and then a single crochet again. Okay, so in UK terminology it's going to be a double, treble and a double. Okay, then we're going to slip stitch in the next 4 stitches over to here. So be careful not to miss your first stitch here. Do a slip stitch in there, slip stitch in the next stitch, 2, slip stitch in the next stitch, 3, and slip stitch in the next stitch, 4. So slip stitch in the next 4 stitches, and that gets you to the middle where this stitch is here. And in the stitch above, in the middle there, we're going to slip stitch into that next stitch above this column here. Do a little slip stitch in there, and we're going to do the same thing that we did here, this little petal here. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, do a treble, wrap the yarn around your hook twice, go back into the same stitch as your slip stitch, do your treble, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. Then we do a double treble or triple treble in UK terminology, wrap the yarn around your hook 3 times, go back into the same stitch, then pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2 4 times. Then we do a double treble again, or a treble in US terminology. I'm getting boggled now. Wrap the yarn around your hook twice, go back into the same stitch, pull through 2, pull through 2 just 3 times. Then we chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch in the same stitch. Okay. Then we're going to slip stitch up to the 1 chain space. So slip stitch in the next stitch, slip stitch in the next stitch, slip stitch in the next stitch, up to your 1 chain space, and in there we're doing a single crochet, just wrapping it around that 1 chain, a double crochet, and a single crochet. Okay, so hopefully it looks a little something like this. I'm just going to repeat that all the way round. So now we're going to slip stitch over to the middle here. Careful not to miss your first stitch, sometimes be hidden under your single crochet. Do a slip stitch in there, 1, slip stitch in there, 2, slip stitch in there, 3, and slip stitch in there, 4. But we also slip stitch into the next stitch above this white post, so you're technically slip stitching 5 times. And then we do the same thing again, chain 3, do a treble, so round your hook twice, then a double treble, round your hook 3 times, back to round your hook twice for a treble, chain 3, and slip stitch in this, all in the same stitch. You get this nice little petal shape. Then we slip stitch up to the middle, so slip stitch in the next stitch. Camera's going to focus. Slip stitch in the next stitch, slip stitch in the next stitch, up to your 1 chain space, and in there we do a single crochet, double crochet, and a single crochet, all in that 1 chain space, and then we slip stitch over to here, and we just repeat that all the way around back to the beginning, creating a little tiny triangle shape and then your petals as well. Okay, so I shall do that and then I shall come back. Be careful not to miss that first stitch. Slip stitch over. Okay, so just coming up towards the end, finishing up with this little triangle picot sort of shape, and slip stitching to the end, 2, 3, 4, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to slip stitch in the very first stitch that we started, this one here. So where your first petal's coming from, we're going to slip stitch into there as well. So that's the end of round 9, and hopefully it looks something like this. You've got these little petals like this. These will become more pronounced as you work the next round. Okay, so moving on to round 10, we're going to stay with our same pink for now, and what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch up to the top. So find your 3 chains here, and we're going to slip stitch into those just to get up to the top, just as neatly as you can, work into those chains and slip stitch to the top. And then we're going to slip stitch into this big stitch in the middle. So that's going to be our double treble, or triple treble in UK terminology. We're going to slip stitch into there. Okay, and now we're at the top of our first petal. Then we're going to join the same pink, the second darkest pink, so this pink we used here, our second darkest pink, we're going to join that, feed that through the loop on our hook. Careful not to distort your shape, and then just pull that pink down. And now we're working with this pink here. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with doing one single crochet in the same stitch you just slip stitch into. So in the top of this DTR, this double treble, I'm going to go back in there and do a single crochet. Okay, so in UK terminology that's a double crochet. Then we're going to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to do 1 single crochet in the previous double crochet in these stitches here. So find the double crochet in the middle of this little triangle shape and do a single crochet in there. Okay, and we repeat that round. So chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then find your big double treble in the middle, so middle of your petal, and do a single crochet in the top of there. Chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and do a single crochet in the double crochet the top of the middle of your little triangle shape. Do a single crochet in there. Okay, so just repeat that all the way around back to the beginning. It's chain 7, and it's coming to the end. Chain 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to slip stitch into our first single crochet that we did. Okay, so by the end of round 10, hopefully it looks like this. Get a bit of a tangled mess. So it's still looking really nice. And then we're going to move on to round 11, and what we're going to do, we're going to find our first 7 chain space that we made, so this big gap here, and in there we're going to start off with a single crochet. So just put your hook in the big gap, wrapping it around the chains, do a single crochet to begin. So that's a double crochet in UK terminology. Then we're going to do a half double crochet in there, half double crochet, or half treble in UK terminology. Then we're going to do a double crochet, or a treble in UK terminology. Then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2, so chain 1 and 2, and then we're going to do a double crochet again in the same space, double crochet, then a half double crochet, all for all 3, and then a single crochet, all in that 7 chain space. And that's it. Then we just repeat that to the end. So we go straight into our next 7 chain space and do the same thing again. We do a single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, oops, that was a half double crochet, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, all in the same space, half double crochet, then a single crochet. Okay, that's all in the same space, and we'll do that all the way around back to the beginning to find your next 7 chain space, and do the same thing again. Single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, half double crochet, and a single crochet. Then move straight on to the next 7 chain space. And just repeat that all the way around back to the beginning. Okay. So just coming up to the end of this round, single crochet. We're just going to slip stitch into our first stitch. So find your first single crochet, and we're just going to slip stitch into there to join the round. And that is the end of part 2. We're going to leave that there because I like to leave it at a place where you can just stop naturally. If you wanted to just make it this big and then make other ones and join them together, it's up to you. But there we go. Hopefully it looks a little something like that. You can start to see your little petals coming out. And so that was the end of round 11, I think that was. And in my next video we'll move on to the last few rounds, and yeah, hopefully you'll join me for the last few rounds. Until then, I'll see you soon for some more crochet fun, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram and share your projects with me with the hashtag #HappyBerryCrochet, because I love seeing the projects that you work on. And like I said in my last video, I'm also releasing some exclusive little mini quick crochet tutorials over there. Now we've got Instagram TV, so less than 10 minutes. It's kind of like a 10-minute challenge for me. So hopefully see you over there as well. But until then, I'll see you soon for some more crochet fun. Thanks for watching. Bye.